This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome into the facility. It's a Monday. It's a Monday. We made it through the weekend. Back to Monday. It's June. It is June. Welcome, Monday, June.
What up, man? King Kong! Oh, me! I don't care if you're on TV or not. Don't you ever play with Denzel again.
JD, I literally said Denzel Washington was my favorite actor.
Talk about, man.
It was an off-camera conversation.
Well, it's on camera now. It's on camera now.
Very much off camera.
He said he don't want to hear is your favorite actor and you put some other names in there. He don't want to hear that, dog. This is LaShawn Shady McCoy. This is a quarterback, Chase Daniel on the far end, Super Bowl champ, James Jones. James, how's the weekend, bro?
Man, the weekend was great, man. Hey, one time we're going to come out with a behind the scenes on this
I'll
show.
tell you what,
man.
we need to start filming
It's going to sell.
I'm done.
It's unbelievable, bro. We was talking 30 minutes. It's going to sell, boy.
Chase, how's the weekend?
It was great, man.
Good weekend.
Family time, no sports, summertime, no school, we're chilling.
No kids sports.
No kids sports.
If I start having
You're really
an Uber driver, Denzel Washington takes on here, and there's no why. So you made me
See if
mad.
you can weave it in today. See if you can weave it in.
My brother. Hey, you want to go home? You want to go home or you?
That's good, though. That's good.
I mean, about this guy.
Yeah, that boy great.
I like that outfit,
Yeah, you shady? Well, let's transition to the NBA. The Pacers, they eliminated the Knicks over the
funny,
weekend and have punched their ticket to an NBA Finals. Next up, Pacers, Thunder. It's the championship. Ain't this what you've been waiting for? Hey, get this, though. The Thunder were 29-1 versus Eastern Conference teams this weekend. When talking basketball, you got to bring in the basketball expert, Jake.
Hey, my brother Jake. Hey.
If y'all don't get the jokes, go watch Training Day. This is Slick Rick, the Bucher, NBA analyst, knows everything there is to know about basketball. But Shady, I'm starting with you on this one. Okay. Pacers, they made it all the way in unforeseen fashion to the NBA Finals after 82 games of a regular season, after beating the Milwaukee Bucks, after upsetting the one-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers, then dismantling the New York Knicks in 6 games. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that only lost 1 game out of 30 to the Eastern Conference. Do the Pacers have a chance against the OKC Thunder?
No, they don't at all. As I watch this series, man, I think the Pacers might win 1 game. It's just all around the board. I mean, you talk about who scores better. I'm going to put the check mark for OKC.
Yep.
Who plays better defense? I'm going to put 2 check marks in front of OKC.
Yep.
You talk about who's the lead player, who's the lead dog, who's going to carry the team, who's the lead captain. Right now, you could probably say that the Pacers have 2 of them because it was a controversy of who won that Eastern Conference MVP. But I'm going with Shea, the MVP. Everything points in the favor of OKC, and then home court advantage. That's a big thing. Yeah. Who do you go there? I'm going to OKC. So when I watch these matchups, I don't think it'll be close. It won't be playing the Knicks. It won't be having guys not being sound on defense, on rotations or on pick and rolls, having them collapses. You won't have guys getting a stupid foul trouble. You won't have that. But what you will have is a smart team, smart defense, right? Guys that hustle up and down. You talk about pace. I watched some dudes beat the Knicks up and down the court, fast breaks. You won't do that with the Thunder because they want that too. You running, I'm running with you. I'm playing defense. So everything points in the favor of OKC, and I'm a betting man, and I will put everything I own on OKC to win that championship.
Slick, you giving the Pacers a chance?
I give them a chance to make it a series. I'm not with Shady as far as that it's going to be over quick. I mean, it could be. But I look at what the Pacers faced with the New York Knicks. I think it was a greater challenge than what the Oklahoma City Thunder faced with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that's why I believe that there's a chance that Indiana could steal Game 1 because they've had to play a higher level of game to this point. But where I agree with Shady is that you look at everything that makes the Indiana Pacers what they were against the New York Knicks in terms of pace, in terms of pushing it. that's the way Oklahoma City likes to play.
Yes, sir.
In terms of depth, Oklahoma City can match them there. Here's the one element that works in favor of the Indiana Pacers.
What
The
element
Indiana
is that?
Pacers have been the hottest three-point shooting team in the playoffs. Collectively, they are shooting 40% as a team. And while Oklahoma City is good at defending the three and was the best during the regular season, they haven't been that in the playoffs, and they haven't shot the ball particularly well from three. So we know how much three-point shooting can tilt the scales.
Yeah.
And if Indiana can maintain that collective hot shooting from three, I think they can steal a couple of games and make the series at least interesting and competitive. I don't give them a chance of winning it overall, but in terms of extending it to 6 or 7, I give them a chance to do that.
Ooh, you said 7 even?
That ain't gonna
Yeah,
happen.
that's on the outside. That's on the outside. That's on the outside. But yeah, look, if you can get to 6, who's to say you can't get to 7?
I give them no chance, and not in a disrespectful fashion. Y'all remember that old commercial, and I think we've referenced it before on the show. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, that's the series.
Yeah.
Because Pacers, y'all got depth. Great. Thunder, we have depth as well. Pacers, y'all got to stretch big. Bet. Thunder, we got to stretch big as well. Pacers, y'all have a star. Thunder, cool, we got a superstar. Pacers, y'all like to run the floor. Thunder, we like to run the floor just as much. Pacers, y'all have found a way to stay healthy because you all have depth. Thunder, hey, we found a way to stay healthy too because we also have depth. Like anything that the Pacers can do, and the Pacers can do a lot well. Shout out to everything they've accomplished this season and even the postseason. It's been incredible. They're a very well-built team. Thunder can do better. Pacers, y'all have a really, really, really good number 2 player in Pascal Siakam, or if you want to argue and say it's Tyrese Haliburton, Thunders do too, and J-Dub and All-Star. Anything the Pacers can do, literally anything, the Thunder can do better. The only place I would suggest the Pacers may have an edge is coaching, because Carlisle has done it before. Carlisle has been there before. Carlisle has won before, and he's won before, I remind everybody, with a team who shouldn't have had a chance. Dallas Mavericks 2011 series, of which I went to, being born and raised in Dallas. The Mavericks should not have beaten a Heat team with Chris Bosh, with LeBron James, with Dwayne Wade. Now, you could suggest it was the first year of those 2 or those 3, so they didn't all gel. The Mavericks with the 37-year-old Jason Kidd, shout out Jason Kidd. The Mavericks with the Jason Terry, who outscored Dirk Nowitzki, I believe, 2 times in that series, shout out Jason Terry. The Mavericks with Dirk Nowitzki should not have beaten the Miami Heat, and they did, shout out to Rick Carlisle. So if you wanted to suggest Carlisle is the difference maker for the Pacers, and he is who could push them to a Game 7, Game 6, sure. But outside of that, I just don't see the chance on the court.
Yeah, but Carlisle ain't playing. It's over, y'all. It's over. I mean, and if one game is making it a series, because maybe if they do win one game, we might be sitting over here like, oh, can they win it? It ain't happening, y'all. This is the most lopsided finals that we've been
In a long time, right? I've seen
And the only one I could really think about is when AI tried to take on Shaq and Kobe. And he did get the first game. And we all like, oh, okay, and then bop, 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 bop. You know, so I mean, as I sit here today, this morning, I'm trying to figure out like a checklist for the Pacers to be able to try to win this thing. Like, is Haliburton going to have to be super aggressive and take a bunch of shots and do something that he ain't did before? Instead of trying to facilitate everybody, is a number 3 option on that team going to have to just
That's my thing.
sleep in the right bed and come out and average 30 and I just don't know how they can get this done. And it's not football. Now, if we were saying, hey, man, it's a one-game situation.
Just get one.
Hey,
Yeah.
who knows what can. But I'm trying to figure out how they are going to get 4, Slick. I don't know how they're going to get 4. And if we're talking about that, then they can't make this a series, man. They win one game. I do give them one game. I think they win one game with some pride, some energy, some effort, maybe one game. Yeah. But it ain't going to be a series.
And I'm just thinking like, okay, so OKC was 29-1 against the Eastern Conference.
And that one wasn't the Pacers.
And then, but they beat them. They beat the Pacers twice this year by average of 13 points. Yeah. It's like what are we talking about? And I'm being serious here, and not disrespectful, because it is the finals, and anything can happen.
Not 4 times.
Anything can happen. But Slick,
Yeah.
How could they even win? I'm trying to say, how could they even win? They better than the Pacers everything.
I am not suggesting, let's be clear, I'm not suggesting that the Pacers, or that I'm saying that the Pacers are going to win the series. But I believe that you guys are discounting, and particularly with Acho made the case about what Rick Carlisle's potential impact is. Like, he's been able to make more out of less.
I agree with that.
And he has been on this platform as has Pascal Siakam. So the understanding, look, the NBA Finals is just a different animal, much like the Super Bowl is a different animal. If you've never been there, the value of being there and being able to handle the atmosphere and everything, the timing, the way the games are played, the additional time at halftime, all the pageantry, all of that stuff, just the importance that it has to a player in terms of being on that stage and having the opportunity to win a ring, all of that matters. And all I'm saying is, I'm saying if they get one in Oklahoma City, now we're flipping the home court advantage. And that gives them an opportunity to win one or two more. Again, I'm not saying they're up against it. And for all the reasons that Shady said. But this has been an overachieving Pacers team the entire postseason. They took out the Cleveland Cavaliers. They weren't supposed to do that. They made short work of the Milwaukee Bucks. They have exceeded expectations all along the line. So for me to say that I can see a window in which they would exceed expectations, which is getting swept or only winning one game,
but let me ask you,
I don't think that's unreasonable.
Isn't exceeding expectations is where they already are. They made it to the finals, that's exceeding expectations. If you win 2 games in this series, that's exceeding expectations. Yep. If you win the series, that's unfathomable. Yep. If you win the series, that is beyond our earthly comprehension. James said it really well. I think Shady agreed with it. If this was football, completely different conversation. You got Osi Umenyiora, you got Michael Strahan, you got them out there. They can beat the 19-0 Patriots, 100%. Right? They can beat Randy Moss and company. One game, get a couple sack force fumbles, get a couple strip sacks. You can win one game.
Tom played them again, it's over.
But you got to play. I just don't see a world where the Pacers can win 4 because this is now playing a team in the Thunder that aren't just physically capable, they're intellectually capable as well. When I think about the Knicks have some physical capabilities. But like Shady would tweet often, Karl Anthony Towns does not play an intelligent brand of basketball. Oof. He simply doesn't. When I look at the Thunder, they all play smart ball. All of them. And they so deep. You want to play Hartenstein 34 minutes, you can. Then the next game you play him 19 minutes because you want to start Isaiah Joe because you need shooting. The Thunder can get whatever they need. Oh, y'all want to get, if the Pacers get hot, Hartenstein, come to the bench. Hey, Joe, Wallace, y'all out there. Like, you can match fire with fire. Defense. You can do whatever you want. And just like the Pacers full court press the Knicks, the Thunder can backdoor and full court press the Pacers.
But our argument is not on who's going to win the series. Our argument is how long the series is.
Yeah, we don't. Us three don't think it's going to be competitive at all.
I don't.
Right. You're saying it's going to be 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And I'm saying there's a possibility that it goes 6 or 7. So, and it's and for 2 reasons, two elements that I just see have writ large when it comes to influencing games beyond what they should. And the number one is the three-point shooting.
Yep.
Three-point shooting can tilt games depending on how well you shoot it. That's just the reality. And the second part is Rick Carlisle. Because I'm going to go back to the Dallas-Miami. No one gave Dallas a whisper of a chance in that series. Not a chance. And he found, and this is what Rick Carlisle does, he has the ability to find the weaknesses in your team and exploit them to the nth degree. Now, I'm not going to tell you, I can't point to what that weakness is, but if there is one, I assure you that Rick Carlisle is going to find it and try to exploit it.
At least you knew that we can throw this ball into Dirk, and Dirk can get us a bucket at any time. I just don't know. Like, that's not on the Pacers. Like, all season we've been bragging about the Pacers, and all playoffs we've been bragging about the Pacers. Anybody's night, anybody can do it. They don't have a dude that Rick Carlisle in this series that you're going to need that say, hey, man, Caruso on Haliburton, taking him out, picking him up from full court. One of y'all got to get a bucket. They don't have that dude. And if we... With all due respect to Pascal Siakam, if we leaning on him to take over these games in the finals, it's going to be a short series,
I look at a couple of things. One is, majority of the games you struggled trying to stop Brunson. Now, last night, they did really well, or the other night, they did really well against him. But he ain't SGA. And Brunson's one of my, he's not that. Sure. He's not that. That's going to be an issue. Who's going to guard him? Stop watching how you trying to guard Brunson. That really couldn't work. Who going to guard him? Another thing is I'm looking at, like, watching the matchups is, who gonna score for y'all? Because, like, all this thing was like, it could be anybody's night. That's they got a lot of all defensive players. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And then another thing is like, and then we're not talking about this. I know we keep talking about the coaches and all that. There's another factor of, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Like with the Knicks, you can fight that. Who's better, right? Because our team is better, but you got more talented player. It is important in sports. I'm just physically better than you, and I'm gonna show you, and you know it. Yeah. And have to fight that is hard. It's just gonna be hard for me to even think that this is gonna be close. I don't really see it.
I got a question, because Shady makes a good point. The last time I would suggest a series outside of Dirk Nowitzki and what Dirk was capable of doing against the Heat, you got to go 2004. Lakers are trying to three-peat, if I'm not mistaken. Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
Detroit Pistons are up. Maybe that, I believe that was 2004.
Yeah. They were trying to four-peat, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice team and all that, though. Larry
the Pistons should not have been able to beat the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, retroactively, Kobe even spoke about it. The late, great Kobe Bryant, Chauncey Billups spoke about it. And Chauncey was like, we knew this is gonna transcend the game of basketball, what I'm about to share if you've missed it. One of the most fascinating things I've ever heard. Chauncey said, we knew Kobe was gonna want a finals MVP because he hadn't gotten one yet. Shaq kept getting them. So we were like, Kobe is going to force it because he's going to want a finals MVP. So all we have to do is make sure we put Kobe in positions to try to force shots, double team Shaq. Kobe's going to want to go for gold because Kobe is just such an animal that he's going to want to be not only win, but the reason his team wins, of which Kobe has said publicly before. Is there any transcendent hole, Slick, as someone who's covered the game of basketball and knows the Thunder well, is there any crack in the armor that maybe the Pacers could try to exploit? The Pistons should not have beat the Lakers. The Pacers should not beat the Thunder. But is there Shea's got MVP. Shea could be only the fourth person in the history of basketball to win MVP and Finals MVP in the same season. Is there a psychological exploitation that can occur?
Scratching and clawing.
Trying.
Sure. I would like to remind you that there was only one person in the national media back in 2004 who said the Detroit Pistons have a chance of winning that series.
Was that Slick?
Talk your talk, Slick.
Was that Slick or Jake?
That was me. And it was in part because I saw the matchups and I knew people weren't taking the Detroit Pistons as seriously as they were because collectively their capability and Larry Brown as their head coach.
A good coach too.
And that's where that's why I give the Indiana Pacers here a fading chance. Now it's different in that I thought the Pistons actually could win that series. Yeah. I don't see that with the Pacers. I think that the Thunder they're too similar. They can exploit too many things.
Right.
But that said, I think we are underselling how close the Pacers are to the Thunder. We can talk about the Thunder doing all these things better.
Close in what way? One team won 67 games this season, another team won 50.
I'm not going regular season. I'm just going postseason in terms of what they've done in the postseason.
But one team beat the brakes off the Grizzlies while the other beat handedly the Bucks. One team, 7-game against the Nuggets, but the Nuggets may have been the second best team. Another team beat the brakes off the Cavs. Then another team dismantled the Timberwolves while the Pacers were fighting for their life.
Can we keep it real a little bit, though? Okay, so the Cavs was banged up, though.
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
they were.
So
was the Bucks.
I the number one seed, but they were banged up.
So was the Bucks.
Okay, and the Bucks, nobody thought much of the Bucks coaching or their players.
Correct.
Okay, and they beat them. Now, I give credit to you beat the Knicks. But what I'm saying, and then the comparison with that Pistons team, that Pistons team was good. Mm-hmm. Tayshaun Prince was on there playing defense. You had Rip Hamilton out there with the mid-range.
But they shouldn't have been.
But that was a better matchup, though. You had Chauncey Billups.
Nobody was
big
saying
shot.
that.
What I'm saying is,
You're talking about Shaq, Kobe.
The Lakers should have won that game. But when I look at the team, Ben Wallace was a defense player. Like I could argue that better than the Pacers. I can't say nothing about what do we say about the Pacers. Haliburton's pretty good. You got Siakam. Like what we talk about? The Pacers remind me of a really good college team, right? Think about it. It's a team where everybody has to play their role.
Yeah.
The NBA is based on superstars. I got my superstar, and then I fill the team, for the superstar. They got an MVP SGA in there, dog. Think about the last champions that we've seen. So let's just go in order. So you got this theory. It's going to be the Thunder.
Boston last year.
It's going to be the Thunder. Let's get that straight.
Thunder, Boston.
Okay, then Boston, they got superstars. All right.
Joker, right?
Joker.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this thing?
Warriors.
Oh my God, you know what he is. Yeah. The Bucks. I mean, goddamn, So what I'm saying is, respectfully, I'm just going on the history, right? Because sometimes I can have bad takes, you can have bad takes,
of course,
right?
all the time.
You can have some great, terrible takes. But we can't go past is history.
Yeah.
And history shows you gotta have a dominant star And we kind of worked that thing out.
And
Pacers don't have that.
Not only that, Kobe had mulligans, man. He going for 4. You think Shea finna be trying to ball hog? He going for 1.
He just want 1. Let me get this little piece.
I did hear an interesting note. The odds of that Lakers-Pistons series were minus 700. The odds of this series are also minus 700. So based upon Vegas, the Pistons were as likely to win that series as the Pacers are.
Trying to make you guys some money. Just trying to make you guys some money.
Hey, what team is better, though? The Pacers, this Pacers team or that Pistons team? They ain't even close. Rasheed Wallace and them boys. Come on, man. Stop.
If that Pistons team was playing this Pacers team, it'd be minus 700 for the Pistons.
Right. Hey, when we returned, Joe Burrow said that he could have done more to lead his team to the playoffs last year.
He's honest, man. I love
So does Joe Burrow, does he owe the Bengals another playoff run? What a show. It's Monday, y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out. It's going to be a happy Monday. Top of the morning to all of you, wherever you are, however you're watching, however you're listening. Hey, don't forget, check us out every day. Joe Burrow coming off a career year with the Bengals. I mean, absolutely statistically dominated, really, most of the NFL. But as it pertains to missing the playoffs again, Burrow said, quote, find this fascinating. He said this, if I had played even better, we wouldn't have been in that spot we were in.
That's why I love Joe Burrow.
I do love Joe for that.
It's going to be tough on him, and then you know what? He'll say the same thing you just say. He's like, yo, I love Joe Burrow.
And what's the spot they were in? 9-8, missed the playoffs after a stunning year by Joe Burrow. Talking from one quarterback to our quarterback, Chase, 14 years in the NFL. You know it very, very well. Does Joe Burrow owe the Bengals another playoff run?
That's good leadership, first of all.
Right
there from Joe. Because
That's
he's pointing the
Joe,
finger directly at him. That's always been Joe. He's always stood up, never pointed fingers. To me, no, he doesn't owe him another playoff win. Like, the least of the Bengals' worries right now and all the problems that they have is with Joe Burrow. He is the last person they're worried about showing up, including Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Henderson, all the stars on that team. In my opinion, like, you can't play much better than what Joe Burrow did last season. If you look back on the season as a quarterback and you only want 6 to 10 plays back, like you wish you could have done something, that's a very, very good season. Now, some of these plays came in very difficult situations for him and plays that he wants back. But if you're looking at it, this is the least of their problems. How about everyone else raise their standards of play? Like, there were 3 guys on the Bengals last year, the guys I said, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Henderson, that stepped up. There's 53 men on the roster last time I checked. So, in fact, they owe Joe some playoffs. They owe Joe to play better. Joe has played exceptionally, insanely good football from the time he's walked in this league. Yes, he's missed the playoffs in back-to-back years. Yes, he still won 9 games last year with a defense that was ranked 25th in points per game. Look at some of the top quarterbacks last year that had to deal with their defenses being good and then their defense of Joe Burrow being bad. Okay, these are just some of the top quarterbacks. Herbert had the #1 scoring defense in all of football. Jalen Hurts, 2nd best scoring. Patrick Mahomes, 4th. Lamar Jackson, 9th. Josh Allen, 11th. Joe Burrow, 25th. And then the losses, it went to 32 points a game. There's a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. And I show this because it's difficult as a quarterback to continually play at such a high level. Yes, he has some plays he wants back. But, Joe, you can't play any better than you did last year. You can make some plays, but my goodness, how about the whole team step up around him?
I like that. One, that's well said, but I do think Joe Burrow owes the Bengals a playoff run because, Joe, the Bengals have given you everything you want. So, in turn, you got to give them the playoffs. They made you one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the history of football. Not only that, you said you wanted both your wide receivers back. You got both your receivers. But randomly, you said you also wanted your tight end, Mike Gesicki. You got your tight end. Anything Joe Burrow has asked for, he's been given that. So, in turn, Joe Burrow, give him a playoff run. Chase brought up a good point about the Bengals' defense and their lack thereof. But I was thinking, bro, where your money is where your talent is. If you think about the top 5 salary caps hit for the Bengals, I want y'all to look at this closely. Joe Burrow, quarterback. Then number 2 and number 3 are things that help the quarterback and wide receivers. Then number 5 is the thing that protects the quarterback. 4 of the 5 highest paid positions for the Bengals, 1 is a quarterback, and then 3 of the next 4 support the quarterback. So you can't be mad, Joe Burrow, when your defense isn't as stout as you would like your defense to be, because all of the finances are going to you, Joe Burrow. The most important position not named the quarterback is probably the left tackle, supporting and protecting the quarterback's blind side, Orlando Brown. And then the next most important things are what the quarterback throws to and the wide receivers. So, of course, the defense won't be as good as it's supposed to be because the Bengals are prioritizing the finances of the offense. Joe, we've given you everything you want. Please give us another playoff run in return. Please.
My man. I'm gonna agree with Acho, man. We own. You owe them guys that, man. They deserve another playoff win. You know, when Joe Burrow came on the scene, he was looked at as like the savior for the Bengals.
Yes, sir.
Why was that?
He did.
Because when that brother was healthy, man, you seen a difference. You seen the whole entire community, you see the whole entire franchise elevate because Joe Burrow was that good. You know, and one thing about being a really great player, right, is that you are accountable. And Chase, this saying he's doing right now, this little interview he had, and he said, I got to play better. He ain't making that up.
Great leadership.
Leadership or not, it's like, this is what I need to do because I am that good of a player. This is why y'all brought me here. This is why I'm the number 2 highest paid quarterback in the league because I take my team to the playoffs. Imagine having a quarterback, highest paid, and we can't even, I ain't even talking about no Super Bowls, fellas. I'm talking about making the playoffs. That's like the bare minimum on the list. You get what I'm saying? And we all look at Joe Burrow as a super gangster. Wow. I look at him as an American gangster. Well, you can't be an American gangster, bro, if you ain't going to the playoffs. Yeah. Because we can't even talk about you like that. Yeah. We talk about you because Joe Burrow don't have no all-pros, fellas. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow don't have no MVPs, fellas.
No, we don't.
You know what he do got, though? He had a bad franchise and take it to the Super Bowl. Yeah. He beat Patrick Mahomes so nobody else can do it. Yeah. So we can't see that standard and see you do that, and now it's like, oh, well, get some stats, Joe. And whatever Bengals do, they just do. No, because he knows that. Yeah. He hears the conversation.
100%.
You think he in there with his mom and his dad and they ain't talking? He like, I got to do better. Yeah. Mom said, you played great. Oh, my God, you had 4,000. You had 5. Mom, I didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. Yes, so he knows he has to do better, and he will because he is that good of a player.
And not only that, even when you watch the tape, and that's why we say up here, nobody's saying Joe Burrow ain't like that.
He's like that.
We just saying that you can't be mentioned with them dudes if you don't get to the playoffs. But number one, I respect Joe. Joe's one of the quarterbacks that I respect in this league because it's not too many of the quarterbacks in our league, whether we like it or not, that pat their chest first. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of people, man, we could have did this, we could have did that, we could have did that. Joe Burrow, even after the losses, go back and listen to some of Joe Burrow's interviews. Joe Burrow, even after the losses, always pats his chest. Right. He always does,
a real one.
Whether he made the play or not. But what Joe Burrow is saying right here, to me, is what I tried to tell Chase last week on the show. When you play the game of football, and we all have played the game of football, but when you're in the middle of your career, you don't think about the touchdowns you scored. You think about the plays you did not make. So after the game, the wife would be like, man, how you, great game, you had 102. I'm like, damn, I dropped 2 of them things. I could have had 180.
And we lost.
That's what we think about. So Joe right here is letting me know that, dang, if I would have played better in the Patriots game, that's one game we in the show. Dang, if I didn't fumble that ball against the Kansas City Chiefs, as good as my season went, we would have been in the playoffs. Those are the plays I think he's saying that where I could have played better, I could have did better. Those are not the whole season. My man almost threw for 5,050 touchdowns. So we know you had a heck of a year, but at the same time, when you're playing, it's the plays you don't make that you think about. And I think that is what Joe's saying, man. It's a couple plays that I left out there that lost games for our team. And if we win those 2, we got 11 games. And you know what? Then people probably scared that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is walking into these playoffs.
Yeah, he's a competitor, no doubt. I respect the way he plays, everything about it. My issue with what all you guys are saying, it's not sustainable for a quarterback to play like he's playing. He has to play perfect every single game for them to have even an inkling of chance to win a football game. And that is because of the team building around him. Mm-hmm. They chose that path. Yes, he wanted it, but you have to eventually say, hey, build some defense. They haven't done anything on the defensive side of the football this year. They haven't even signed Trey Hendrickson back. Yeah, they got a little bit younger. Mm-hmm. They fired their DC, who I think is a great defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo. But my thing is, like, it's a single player, right? And so when you look at the quarterback position, you have to end up having help around you. You can only do so much as a quarterback. Look at everyone else on those teams that I showed. They all have extremely great teams, not just supporting cast. I think Joe Burrow has 2 of the top receivers in the league.
He does.
But if you can't play defense, and you're scoring, and I think they were 4th or 5th points per game, whatever it was, Colin, let's check that. It's just not sustainable. And to your point, James, I think the biggest thing is the question, right? Does Joe Burrow owe the Bengals another playoff run? The reason why the Bengals are the Bengals right now, it's because of Joe Burrow. It's because of one person who has completely changed that franchise around. Mm-hmm. It's time for that franchise to help Joe Burrow out. We would not be talking about the Bengals. They were awful forever until Joe Burrow got there and did what he did. So now to have continued success, before you go, Shady, to have continued success, he has to have some help team-wise around him. You can't play much better as a quarterback.
So that's what happens when you're a bad team, you get the number one pick. That number one pick is supposed to be a franchise changer. And most of them do that. You get your franchise quarterback, Chiefs, they got Patrick Mahomes, it's changed. Lamar Jackson, he won the number one pick, 32nd pick. Right?
Look at both of their defenses.
Well, hold on, Chase. It changed, right? Josh Allen, I was over there for that. It was real bad. No talent. It changed. Joe Burrow comes to the Bengals. You know what happens? It changes. I look at that, his biggest playoff run when they beat the Chiefs and they went to the championship, Super Bowl. And, you know, we talk about the plays that he didn't make this year. That's why he's not in the playoffs. But you know what took him to the Super Bowl? The plays he did make. Yes, he did. I remember numerous times in that game.
Took off running.
Not even that. I remember they had Chris Jones, had him wrapped up. Sack, trying to close the game out. Somehow, some way, he breaks out of it, scrambles, throws darts down the field. Another time, same dude, Chris Jones, one of the best defensive players we got in this league. He breaks out of it, runs for first down. I'm like, yo, the reason why they went that far in the playoffs is because the plays that he did make. And as I look at him now, right, like, and Chase is right, though. Some games, like, yo, you got to play damn near perfect.
No doubt.
But there's also games where you got to get the gimmies. You play against Lamar, you might play against Pat, yo, you might have to be perfect. And you lose. When you playing the sorry Patriots, there's no Belichick, there's no Tom Brady, you not winning them games? Mm-hmm. Think about that for a second, though.
Yeah, that's the games that hurt
we
you.
Only talking about the big games. What about the gimmies? Yeah. When you have a season, right, and this is coming from a player perspective that played at a high level, there's certain games where I'm like, yo, against this team, yeah, I'm going to have me 185, maybe 2 touchdowns. But this game right here, I just got to be perfect and give my team a chance to win. Yeah. It might be a 78 or 80-yard game, but I got to play really well for us to win this game. So I guess the same way if he's playing against Josh Allen or playing against Lamar or playing against Pat. But when you're playing against Brissett for the pay, like, come on, man. That should be a walk-in-the-park win. Yeah. And they only really needed one win to get in the playoffs. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, Chase, you are right, but you can't be this good and this great and this special, because Joe Burrow is special.
Yes, he is.
And you not being in the playoffs, that don't add up to me,
And he
dog.
needed it for himself, not the Bengals. Yeah. Joe Burrow is a Hall of Fame player.
Yes,
right?
he is.
And I'm not saying he got Hall of Fame numbers and stats and all, but he's a Hall of Fame player. He needs this for himself. Forget the Bengals. He needed it for himself. He building his resume.
A playoff ain't going to get you in the Hall of Fame, James.
No, but the run.
The run
won't get you. A Super Bowl will. An All-Pro will, which he is yet to
How you going to get to that,
How you going to get there if you don't get to the playoffs?
Get in the dance
but you're
every
saying
year
if he
in
just
your
gets to
prime.
the playoffs.
I'm just listening to what I'm saying.
Yes, I am.
I'm saying this is Joe Burrow's career. Joe Burrow cannot be out of the playoffs, out of the playoffs, out of the playoffs. He needs to be in the playoffs, in the playoffs, in the playoffs. Whether that means Super Bowl or not, when you turn on Joe Burrow's tape in his career, it's playoffs, playoffs, playoffs in your prime. Not in the playoffs, not in the playoffs, not in the playoffs.
And I'm with you. And I just think that eventually the front office of the Bengals has to take over this team building and has to build this team not one-dimensional. Because eventually, Joe Burrow's signed. Eventually, at what point, because if you look at the top 5 quarterbacks, does Joe Burrow want out? Like, we were talking about that earlier. Like, I'm like, he's still good. It's still a good team. They're easily the worst team that they got.
But the hard part
and it's the money, so he's not going to go. I get it.
The dilemma for me is
but if they keep building a team like this,
but you know what they say, there are no solutions in life, just trade-offs. When I think about the team you mentioned in the Chargers and how good they were, well, the top 3 highest paid players is Justin Herbert, then you get Derwin James and Khalil Mack. The Ravens, they got a real good defense. Well, yeah, you're playing Roquan Smith, the 2nd highest paid player, and then Nnamdi Madubuike is the 4th highest paid player. They're allocating resources. The Eagles are the only team that does not have a defensive player in the top 5, but shout out to Howie Roseman and everything he did with Zach Bond, everything he did with Reed Blankenship, et cetera. So when I think about the Bengals, if Joe got rid of T and got rid of Gesicki and built a defense, he ain't going to give you them same numbers. So which one you want? You want 34 touchdowns and a moderate defense, or you want 45 touchdowns and a bad defense? But if Joe had a great defense, he ain't finna have them numbers. So there's no solutions in life. It's really just trade-offs. Joe Burrow, you got to find a way to find a solution yourself. Hey, when we return, the Knicks had no solution for the Pacers at all whatsoever. Jalen Brunson, one of the best players in the league, but once again comes up short after a star-studded season. Can the Knicks actually win a title with Brunson as their best player? It's the team in the Big Apple, one of the biggest franchises in all of sports, and we will talk about them next. Hey, congratulations to Kyle Kirkwood for winning the Detroit Grand Prix yesterday. Kirkwood got off to a jump during a restart at the end of the lap 89 and was in control the rest of the way for a second victory of the season.
Big time.
Shout out to Kyle Kirkwood. He's a champion. Unfortunately, the New York Knicks are not.
Kyle trying to be like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, huh?
Hey, Jalen Brunson, not sure who he's trying to look like because despite pushing to a Game 6, he found no way to get it done. Now, after the game, though, he still said, I got a lot of faith in this group. Slick, the Knicks had a phenomenal season. Many would suggest they even overachieved, especially considering Brunson got hurt, I think it was in March, playing the Lakers out here at Crypto, turned an ankle, ended up missing, I think, 3-4 weeks of play. Still, the Knicks were able to sustain. They got to the playoffs. They got all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but once again, you fell short. It's not about who's the best loser. It's about who wins it all. Slick, can the Knicks win a title with Brunson as their best player?
I feel like I'm the guy who's selling hope in today's show. I'm giving the Pacers a chance to make it interesting, and I'm giving the Knicks a chance, as remote as it might be, a chance of winning a championship with Jalen Brunson as their best player. And I'm going to mention one of the teams that we mentioned earlier, which is the 2004 Detroit Pistons, as one of the reasons why I feel that way. The 2022 Golden State Warriors is another team that I would point to. It doesn't happen often. It is a rare occasion when you have a point guard and you build around a point guard who is your best player and you win championships. It simply does not happen a whole lot. But if you have the right group around them, you can get it done. You need all-star, Hall of Fame level players surrounding them. But ultimately, Chauncey Billups, slightly bigger version, slightly better defense, not quite as offensively gifted as Jalen Brunson. They ultimately got it done. They had Ben Wallace, future Hall of Famer, Rasheed Wallace, who, pound for pound, maybe the most talented player on that team.
Rip.
Tayshaun Prince, Rip Hamilton, like they had a squad, a starting five. Same thing with the Golden State Warriors in terms of what they got out of Andrew Wiggins. And you got Draymond Green, and Jordan Poole was still a player in the league at that time. You had the vehicle that allowed Steph Curry to go win another one. So I do think it's possible, but you need to have the right talent and you need to have a lot of talent because I just don't know that Jalen Brunson is going to get appreciably better than what he is right now. But I think he has the ingredients. I think he has the leadership qualities and the fearlessness with the game on the line to be that guy. You just need to put the right pieces around it.
You bring up a good one with Chauncey Billups, but I would say Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas, the two undersized guards that led their teams to championships. I heard Colin Cowherd mention this before. I found it fascinating. You do not win chips with undersized guards. And then I have to ask myself, like, why don't you win chips with undersized guards? Like, I don't just want to hear the what. I want to figure out the why. Number one, it becomes far too difficult for them to get buckets. Like, it was so much easier for Cat to score than Brunson to score. Cat, if you lagged off of him 5 feet, he's shooting a tray ball. If he's hot, it's going to be a long night for you. If you tried to press upon him like Pascal Siakam did or Miles Turner did, every time he was going left, he was going to the cup. The question was simply, is it going to be an and one or not? But it was so much easier for Cat to score than for Brunson to score. Brunson got a lot more points, but boy, he had to work for him.
Right.
Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas, the undersized guards that win championships. I just believe for an undersized guard like Brunson, number one, can you be healthy for a sustained period of time? It's just hard with the wear and tear on your body when you're smaller. Then number two, the ease in which a bigger player can score. Even when I think about Chauncey Billups, it was Hamilton running off every single screen known to man all across the country to end up getting his buckets. And I think he actually finished that final series with more points per game, though by a slight margin, than Chauncey Billups. I don't think Brunson can do it because it doesn't get done. Unless Steph Curry, one of the greatest of all time, and Isaiah Thomas, to James's point, that's a different caliber of squad, the Bad Boys Pistons. I just don't see a world where Brunson, an undersized guard, is winning championships in an era of Shai Gilgeous's, Giannis's, Joker's, Ant-Man's, Luka Doncic's. I just don't see how Brunson is going to be able to do it.
I mean, I'm going to give him a little hope, too, and give him a little benefit of the doubt because I think Brunson is like that as a player, but he needs more. Like, when we talk about Isaiah Thomas, he did have really good teams, and he had another guard in Joe Dumars that could go get a bucket, too. You talk about Steph Curry. Steph Curry, we all know, phenomenal first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever do it, but he did have Klay Thompson, too, another guard. To be honest with you, when you watch the playoffs, even though Brunson still was phenomenal, averaging 29 points, they made it extremely hard on him. They were able to get the ball out of his hands, double team in full court. If you have another guard that can help you and take people off the dribble and get you easy buckets and you could go through them as well, that can help you. And not only that, if you're not going to have that, at least have some legit three-point shooters. He don't have legit three-point shooters on the squad, so we can double. And then when he kicks it to those guys, those dudes ain't knocking the three-ball down. Josh Hart is not knocking the three-ball down like that. So he needs another guy that can score the basketball at a high clip if they are going to have a chance, especially with him being a smaller guard, of winning the finals.
I get a little ace in the hole right there, okay.
Joe Dumars?
Okay, James. I'm going to say yes. The brother got game. Now, this happened that he went against a real hurricane type of defense. That's another one, too. Hurricane type of defense. Yeah, I'm on my Denzel the whole day. No, but I mean, he averaged 31 points a game, right? And he played well. I do think that, now I won't go to winning the championship just because it's hard to do. People, I hate when people throw that word around. He can't win a championship. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if it's a little guard thing. There's a lot of tall guards that score a lot of points that's in the Hall of Fame that didn't score championships. You know what I'm saying? So I don't play that championship game. I remember when I first got on TV, I remember being on set with Acho, and I'm like, yo, y'all keep talking about championships like it's just everybody's doing that. So select few guys win the championships. But what I will say is have the chance to, as in get to the finals. And I think he can get to the finals. I think you have to have the right team for him. I look back to Allen Iverson. He's my favorite player of all time, and you know, the way his style was, people say he can't win a championship. He's just a scorer, the way he plays. But a coach like Larry Brown came there, said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to design a team for you. Yep. Where now you don't have to be this great defensive player, because he played defense well enough. He's not like locked down, but you're not going to just pick on him. But they would kind of hide him a little bit. And now we have this whole team where now I could move you from the 1 to the 2, right? And we can have guys like Aaron McKee, guys like Eric Snow to play the defense, play the other guards. And then the big men. Right? When you added Mutombo, that force down low, now we have defensive presence. Now we're going to chase everybody to the paint. And that's how you create a team at a smaller guard to have a chance to compete at a championship. Now, we say the small guards can't win championships, but if he don't play the Shaq and Kobe, he might got a one. You get what I'm saying? And there's a lot of other guys I could talk about that with. I say with Brunson, he has a unique skill set to get to the free throw line and to score points, right? We talk about only offensive scoring, but he did lead the team and also in assists. And I think if you have a team where we could make that strategy the same way Larry Brown did for the Sixers with Allen Iverson, I think we can see Brunson, because Brunson is an all-NBA type player. Last 2 years, he's been that.
I wish I had meant to make a full screen out of this, because my first thought was, well, you're asking Jalen Brunson to be Steph Curry. He can't be Steph Curry, right? Oh, yes, he can. Because if you look at his numbers during the regular season and the playoffs this year, compared to Steph in 2022, they're almost identical, and in some cases, Brunson's numbers are better. So in terms of pure production, Brunson's right there. And it's a matter of, can you put the right pieces around to protect him and allow him to do that? Because, look, we can say they made it difficult on him. Yeah, they made it difficult on him. He still got it done.
But here's the difference, though. At what cost? Because, like, you can get something done, but I suggest, like, at what cost? Is it at the cost of your defensive energy? Is it the cost of not being able to do it over the course of 7 games? Is it at the cost of getting in foul trouble? I believe it was game 3 in which the Knicks won. So now, because you're getting it done offensively, you're fatigued intellectually, defensively, so now you're getting dumb fouls. My thought is, at what cost? Because, yes, the numbers may have been the same, but for Steph Curry, you could suggest not that it comes easier, because Steph runs, I think, like 2.8 miles per game or something, but it's for Brunson, bodies on him, turn around, pump. For Steph, wide open three because he's running around 3 screens, bucket.
Yep.
For Steph, he can cook you with because his handle is like the ball's on a string like a yo-yo, bucket.
Looks
I
different.
just don't know, even to Shady's point, if it wasn't Shaq and Kobe, it would have been Tim Duncan.
You don't think it's the same? Because like running around and then scoring. Because and this might not be popular because I'm a Steph Curry fan, but I would say one-on-one, I think Brunson scores better than Steph one-on-one. Just straight get the ball one-on-one.
Yeah.
I think. Would you agree with that? I think he does. I think
fair.
Steph's a better player.
No
obviously.
screens, no picks,
Steph's my favorite. So I'm just being honest. But what I'm saying is, when you got the right team and structure, now Steph can be Steph, right? So let's break the Warriors down at their best, even before the Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Right. Every ball in there from 1 to 5, other than Steph, can really play defense.
Yep.
We're gonna let Clay, and this is when Clay was rolling.
Yeah.
He shot the ball extremely well, and he played defense. So now the spacing on the floor is phenomenal. Okay. I look at Draymond Green. Back then, Draymond should shoot trays. Right? And he can facilitate well enough to get guys involved, playmaking ability, and I play defense, and we're running. You get what I'm saying? I look at him when they brought Iggy over. Another one, playmaker, right? Can shoot the ball well enough, play defense. And as you go down, right, I'm like, yo, everything for Steph Curry fits him. So now Steph can be Steph. I don't have to play great defense all the time, right? And I can shoot the ball whenever I want, and there's so much spacing where on the floor I can do what I want when I'm a smaller guard.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, when you look at the smaller guards that have played well with the Steph Currys and the Allen Iversons, the team has to fit them. And when I watch the Knicks, it's like the Timberwolves and the Knicks traded both of their weaknesses. And they became both teams' problem. Randall became Timberwolves' problem. Cat, to a degree, became the Knicks' problem. Because now when we playing defense, yeah, we talking about scoring and all that stuff, cool. But what about when we're coming back, we go from a 12-0 run, and now we're down like 1, and then the next 4 drives or series, Cat, they score because of you. Because you've been lazy on the rotations on defense. You've been lazy on the pick and roll game. You get what I'm saying? But the worst, you don't see that. You see maximum effort from a championship team. So now I'm Steph Curry, I could kind of do my thing. The same thing with Allen Iverson. You watch the way they play defense, oh my God. Now, Iverson can be himself. So I do think that Brunson, if he has the right team around him, because scoring is what he's going to do. In this league, you need some scoring. And he gives you that.
But it's how you score, too, though. Like, if you watch Brunson's buckets, and I agree, Brunson one-on-one is like that. But it was so hard. He spent a lot of energy one-on-one trying to get them buckets. They was picking him up from full court. At least Steph Curry has times in the game to where these shots is wide open because of the other people around him. Brunson doesn't have that luxury, so that's why I'm saying if you can get him another guard on there, I ain't saying you're going to go out there and get a Klay Thompson, but if you can get him another guard that can score and shoot it, that is going to help Brunson.
Yeah.
I mean, my man did you see, he didn't even want to get the ball up at the end of the game. He just giving up stupid turnovers because he just dribbling the air out of the basketball. But there's nobody else on this basketball team that was aggressive that can just go out there and get a bucket on their own. So for him to have some success, because I don't care about the regular season. In the playoffs, you're going to get treated different. And in the playoffs, they're going to try to take the best player out of the game. And that's what they did with Brunson trying to get the ball out of his hands. He needs another guard.
Yeah, having guys who can space the floor can change everything for that guy in one-on-one situations. If you have guys that you have to respect and stay home on at three-point range, that's going to open things up. And the other part is the coaching. Like, you need somebody who can utilize all of the pieces.
Space, too.
And Tom Thibodeau got killed in this series overall. You need somebody who can make the most out of all the pieces that you have. You see what Steve Kerr did with Andrew Wiggins wasn't a player prior, wasn't a championship caliber player.
Turned into that
Jordan Poole, we've seen him since then. Like, the ability to put all those pieces together, and this is maybe the most important part that Jalen Brunson has, that Steph Curry has. His players believe in him. His teammates believe in him. And you know that from playing with Aaron Rodgers. You know it from playing with Mahomes. Like, when you have that guy that you go, you know what, if we do our jobs, he can get us the rest of the way. They just don't have the guys that are capable of doing those jobs.
Incredibly well said. Hey, well, speaking of guys that believe in or have the belief of their teammates, Russell Wilson, he went to not only 1 Super Bowl, but 2, but he has one. Hall of Fame resume, that's what I would suggest he has as well, but now he's on his 3rd team in 3 years. Do you expect to see Hall of Fame Russ in the Big Apple with head coach Brian Daboll? Cannot wait for this explosive conversation after the break. Hey, let's get back to the NFL. Russell Wilson expected to be the starter for the Giants this season. and he's already praising his new head coach. Russ and Brian Daboll, that's the combination now. But Russ said about Daboll's offensive ability that it is special. Russell Wilson's career has been special. 9 Pro Bowls in 10 seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances his second and third year, including winning a Super Bowl. He looks like he is on track to walk into the Hall of Fame. So, Shady, do you expect to see Hall of Fame Russell Wilson with the Giants?
Absolutely. You know, people like to talk about Russ, good or bad, mostly bad in the last couple of years. But if we look at his stats for the last couple of years, especially the last 2, he had 47 touchdowns and 13 picks. And the thing is, he didn't start every single game, right? The Steelers. Talk about what you want about Russ, but, for 11 games he did have, he had like 2,500 yards, something like that. I think he had 5 picks with like 17 touchdowns. Like, he has been playing well, and now you bring him to a guy like Brian Daboll, who's an offensive guru. I played for him. I know how smart he is. If you ask Josh Allen your best years in Buffalo, he might say the MVP year because MVPs is hard to get. But it's when I had Brian Daboll. He helped me to see the offense better. He helped me to dissect the defense a little bit better. And I know that Brian Daboll. Now, you think about this. Daniel Jones is as bad and awful as he is as a player. This dude, Brian Daboll, took him to the playoffs. And I feel like any quarterback and with Brian Daboll is a safe house.
Explain.
Denzel movie. Come on, man. Follow with me. So, you know what I mean? You got to follow with me with this Denzel. But I do think that, like, a quarterback can be more comfortable with a certain offensive of mind, right? Playing with Andy Reid, I never question the game plan. There's some coaches I question the game plan. Why are we doing this? But when Andy Reid, with Brian Daboll, I don't question it because I know how good they are. I know the time they're going to put in. If you even watch if you don't know Brian Daboll, you ever see like the little interviews or stuff on Instagram when he's coaching or he's asking the quarterback's questions? You're like, man, he's smart. So I think you get a guy like, and then you ask my like Russell Wilson, he ain't Daniel Jones. He ain't nowhere near that. He's opposite of that.
He's sunshine.
And I think when you have a superstar Hall of Fame type quarterback, there's some things you don't want with this play call or this game plan. I might do a little extra because I know you're that good. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna see whenever that rookie plays, oh, okay, you got a little talent, I'm gonna do a little something extra with you. And I think it'll be a little different with Brian Daboll.
Yeah, I mean, a decade ago, 10 years ago, 2015, Russell Wilson's best year. Hall of Fame stats, 4,000 passing yards, 553 rushing yards, 34 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Do I expect to see that Russell Wilson with Daboll? No. No, I don't. I think Russ has some good ball left in front of him, and if anyone takes care of his body and knows how to get right, it's Russell. Like, the training regimen's there. I just don't think he's going to get a full season starting to be able to prove that he can be the Hall of Fame Russ we're talking about right now. And it goes back to the stat, and I've said it before, since 2020 on average, quarterbacks drafted in the first round start in week 3. I don't think it's going to be week 3 for Jackson Dart. But the New York Giants, they've traded back up into the first round to grab their quarterback. I think Russell Wilson will have success. I don't think the Giants are good enough for Russell to keep his job. I think Russell can play all they want, but if they continue losing and if Russ continues playing well, they have to do something. They have to make a change. In my opinion, even if Russ wins 8 or 9 games with the Giants and they don't make the playoffs, they're getting fired in that building. I think they've run out of time. Whereas you win 7, 8 games, maybe if they can with Jackson Dart. I don't know how well he's coming along. They got a really good quarterback room, but those are the reasons. I just think 10 years ago was Russ. I mean, Russ has played good ball, but that was the Hall of Fame Russ. I think that's gone.
I don't expect to see Hall of Fame Russ, only because Hall of Fame Russ was winning at a high clip. Hall of Fame Russ didn't become a Hall of Famer because he threw for 5,000 yards. He's never done that. Yeah. He didn't become a Hall of Famer because he threw for 40 touchdowns a season. He's done that once. Russ became a Hall of Famer because he went to back-to-back Super Bowls and he won one. Russ became a Hall of Famer because he went to 9 straight Pro Bowls, well, 9 in 10 years, and legitimate Pro Bowls, not the 4th, 5th alternate Pro Bowls that we talk about now. I don't anticipate Russ going to a Super Bowl with the Giants. That would be completely unrealistic. I don't anticipate Russ going to and winning or losing a Super Bowl. So Russ can't be Hall of Fame Russ in New York because Hall of Fame Russ wasn't a Hall of Fame Russ because of gaudy statistics. Yeah. Hall of Fame Russ was Hall of Fame Russ because he wanted a high clip, and I just don't know that this Giants roster right now is capable of making a deep playoff run, let alone a Super Bowl playoff run. I just think that's an unfair ask of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I agree with that, too. I think it's unfair to say Hall of Fame Russ.
Yeah.
I think Russ is going to have a phenomenal season under Brian Daboll. I think these two dudes are a perfect match for each other. Russ still has a lot of good football left in him. I'm extremely high on the Giants. I think the Giants are going to be a good football team. They're going to surprise a lot of people, and I think this is going to be a really good match at the quarterback spot. But he just don't got the legs like that no more. Like, this was a young Russ. Like, he got the name Danger Russ because he was getting outside the pocket, making big-time plays with his legs, and then extending plays and making big-time plays with his arms. I do think we'll see a little of that. I don't know how much we'll see of that at a high clip. I think he's going to have a heck of a season, but I don't think it's going to be one of his best Hall of Fame seasons. So I think if we're going into the season right now saying Hall of Fame Russ, that's unfair. That's like saying Aaron Rodgers coming back with Brian Daboll. Is it going to be No, the Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's gone.
He out of there, man. He old. His legs ain't like that no more. I used to tease him all the time about running 5 flat. Right now, he's probably about 5'4". You know, so, Hall of Fame Russ, I think, is unfair to him coming out.
So Hall of Fame Russ
I agree.
is tough, right? But what about this? So you telling me if the Giants, who's been bad over the years, and now he goes to the playoffs. We ain't,
I'm on the Giants bandwagon, so I can see that.
They're not going to the playoffs if Russ plays bad, okay? So I'm saying Russ plays well and they go to the playoffs. We're not going to look at him like Hall of Fame Russ might be back.
If he takes the playoffs, 100%.
And another thing is, I don't think so. James put me on assignment a couple weeks ago, right? Because sometimes James and stuff, I'm like, I don't really listen. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I do listen. And I remember the Titans. No, I'm stop it. But when he was going, I was like, man, let me look at this roster. And on defense, they not gonna be bad on defense.
Come on, man.
Hold up.
Really good.
But on offense, they not as bad as you think either. They got some wide receivers over there.
With speed.
And they got a receiver that's gonna demand a lot of attention. So you got a guy that can demand a lot of attention. Like, yo, I got a call sheet, and this big plate right here is for this one receiver who's gonna get a lot of attention. Then you can build off of that. And then they got a running back that was really good in his first year. So you know he's gonna get busy. And now I'm okay. And then to put the icing on the cake,
Daboll.
the coordinator.
Daboll.
Now, respectfully, I think when Russ was doing his thing in Seattle, right, coordinator was good. He was all right.
Daryl Bevel.
It was a shame.
Schottenheimer the last 2 years.
Daryl
He had Bevel.
Bevel when he was playing
He's not Daboll.
But he's not Daboll. And that's what I'm getting to. And I feel like with Daboll, things are different. Because he's a really good coach. He's super smart. And now maybe Russ ain't the old Russ from back in Seattle. But maybe my coordinator ain't what Daboll is today. So now we can meet in the middle a little bit. I think Russ will have a really good year. And I think if he takes this team to the playoffs, all that Hall of Fame stuff y'all kind of say they're not trying to really give him is like back then. I think we got to look at it like, well, hold up. Maybe some of that Hall of Fame stuff is kind of back. Because you took the New York Giants. The team I'm used to saying, New York Giants, who Eli likes to play for, that team, they've been real bad. Playoffs?
If he goes to playoffs,
Well, it's a different, way
Daboll's
different
probably
story.
winning Coach of the Year.
He keeps his job. Everything changes.
Everything.
Okay, so just holler at me when that happens.
No doubt about it. Hey, speaking of not just getting to the playoffs, but a finals, Haliburton did that. But get this, at the end of the game, after Tyrese Haliburton led the Pacers to the finals, he thought he was going to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP, so much so that he started walking towards the trophy that they handed to his teammate, Pascal Siakam. Do y'all think Tyrese Haliburton got robbed of Eastern Conference Finals MVP? Pacers headed to the NBA Finals, but Haliburton not headed to his trophy case, at least not with the Eastern Conference Finals MVP award. Pascal Siakam won the award in a 5-4 vote. It was a little awkward because Haliburton started to walk towards the front of the podium and thinking he was going to win the award, obviously, and then it was announced that it would go to his teammate, Pascal Siakam. Rick, I want to come to you first on this one because you're a voter, not for this award, but you're a voter for regular season MVP. You're a voter for all NBA teams. So you understand the gravity that comes with a decision like this more than anybody I would suggest on sports television today. Haliburton, did he get robbed of winning the conference finals MVP?
He didn't get robbed. He got shortchanged.
Okay, break down the difference.
Robbed is... There's no question he should have gotten it. I can't say that. Can I make a case why he should have gotten it? Yeah. Yes, I can. But it's a little bit like Pascal Siakam was the engine and Tyrese Haliburton was the driver. You really can't get the job done. You can't get to where you want to go if you don't have both of those elements. Now, I appreciate the fact that the voters, and by the way, the voting is a reflection of this. There were 9 voters. The final vote was 5-4. There was 1 vote that went the other way. Otherwise, it's Haliburton's. And I'd flip it on its head. Would we be having the same conversation if Haliburton had won? I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so, because he had more signature moments and because I believe that there was just more hype around Haliburton. But I said this going into the series when you asked me who had the edge in superstars. And I said it was Jalen Brunson and the Knicks because we know who the Knicks superstar is. There has long in the NBA been the feeling when it comes to the Indiana Pacers that Pascal Siakam is actually the best player on that team,
talk about it.
even though Haliburton gets all of the shine. So when I look at the defensive impact that Pascal Siakam had, when I look at all the nitty-gritty ingredients, and the fact that while Haliburton had all of the highlight reels, like they played through Pascal Siakam actually more than they did with Haliburton. And he got a lot of the dirty work done, both offensively and defensively. So I don't have a problem with the outcome. But I can make a case where Haliburton should have won the award.
Yeah, we can make a case for everybody, Slick. So when I was playing, I was a third receiver. And I was real frustrated one day, and my coach said, bro, go up to Coach McCarthy's office. My coach that raised me, Keith Woods, he said, go up to Coach McCarthy's office and ask him, what do you got to do to be the starter and not be the number 3 wide?
Try snitching.
You know what I'm saying? So I went up there, and I'm like, hey, Coach Mike, man, I'm not a backup, man. I'm a starter, bro. That's what I believe in myself. What I got to do? And he said, JJ, the dude in front of you, he said, it's a competition. He's going out there first. He said, don't make it close. If it's close, you ain't starting. It's his job. If it ain't close, you walk out there as a starter. Say no more as I walked out of the thing. That's all I needed to hear. Now it's all in my control. Go out there and ball out and do what I got to do to make it not close. I ended up handling my business. Tyrese Haliburton didn't. It was close. Choose one. Because if you look at Pascal Siakam, he balled. Whenever they needed a bucket, he scored. Whenever they needed somebody to play defense, he played defense. So Pascal Siakam balled in this series too. It ain't just like Tyrese Haliburton was the only one out here balling, making everybody else around him better. Pascal Siakam went to work in this series too on both sides of the court. It was very, very, very close. So I'm not mad that Siakam got it, and I'm not mad that Tyrese Haliburton didn't, and I wouldn't have been mad that Tyrese Haliburton got it and Pascal Siakam didn't. It was way too close. And if you leave it close, this is what's happening. You are the superstar on the team, but hey, Pascal Siakam let you know there's another one. There's another one.
I hate it. I think Haliburton got robbed. I think it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal because these are the kind of things that people will use to hold Haliburton down from becoming a star or superstar. You're not even a best player on your team. Here's why I hate it. I think it was lazy by the voters to vote Siakam as the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Here's why. If you only look at points scored, Pascal Siakam made a bigger impact. He scored more points than Tyrese Haliburton. But if you look at the points accounted for, not only am I scoring, but I'm helping my team score, now it's not even close. Haliburton had more points accounted for than Siakam. He had more steals than Siakam. He had more double-doubles than any player on the Pacers. No Pacers player had a double-double. Tyrese Haliburton had 4 of them. Plus, Tyrese Haliburton had 15 steals in the series, averaging 3 a game. I mean, what are we talking about here? Truth be told, I would suggest, even Slick, that Tyrese Haliburton was the brains of the entire operation. The Pacers won that series because of pace, a pace in which Tyrese Haliburton dictates. That's why the Pacers won the series. Not because in the half court they're better than the Knicks, not necessarily. It's because the Pacers were running up and down the court, tiring out the Knicks, and that is what Tyrese Haliburton did. The Pacers were stealing extra possessions. That was because Tyrese Haliburton had 15 steals throughout the course of that 6-game series, 2 and change during the course of each of those games. To me, if you only look lazily at points scored, of course you got to go with Pascal. I think he had a 39-point game. He had a 31-point game. Yeah. But you got to look at the entirety of not just am I scoring, but am I helping Naismith score? Am I helping Nembhard score? Am I helping Miles Turner score? Am I helping Pascal score? That's what Haliburton did. It should have been a landslide, Tyrese Haliburton, man.
You kidding? A landslide? Wow. I would say close, but a landslide is that's if it went either way, I was cool with it. I did think that Siakam did win that award just because, even the last game they played. Every time the Knicks made that run and got close, it wasn't Haliburton that was just separating it. It was Siakam. I mean, the dude led the team in scoring, which you don't care. I care about that. He did. Averaging 25 points a game, and he was efficient. He shot 50% from the three. Yeah. He's like 52% from the field. Like, those things matter. And on defense, I might have to guard Cat sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? So as we look at this whole thing, and I think, like, when you watch the Pacers and the Knicks, like, Haliburton is really, really good, and he's the more popular player. But the equalizer was Siakam. And then I also want to say this real quick because, like, sometimes in sports, we like to go to the popular player. Like last year with the Celtics, the popular player was JT. Yeah. But if you really watch the game and you really just put your analyst hat on and really analyze the whole game, JB was guarding the best player that was scoring the most on defense. Yeah. And then I had to come down and score. You know, like, all them things really, really matter. So I'm going with Siakam. I think Haliburton, that would be great for him to win that. But the popular player is probably him.
Really quick, though.
Yes, sir.
Because you the only one up here that said, like, this is easy, it's a landslide. So putting your analyst hat on, because we broke down this whole series, we've been up here talking about it. When you forget the stats, just take all the stats to the side, because whatever, points, score, rebound, put them all to the side. When you watch that game, you thought it was a landslide, that Tyrese Haliburton should have won the MVP over Siakam watching that game?
No.
Because I can't say that.
When I watch that game, I'll say this. I remember many more Haliburton moments than Siakam moments. So to answer more fairly, more sober-minded, I wouldn't have said landslide, but I would have said, yeah, Siakam guarded Cat, but it's not really like he slowed him down. But he was on him. Shady is right. But I remember Haliburton. I remember game 2, stepping back, hitting the dagger 3. I remember the choke signal. I remember Haliburton having 30, 15, and 12. I believe it was in game 4. I remember Haliburton in game 6, the elimination game. Every time the Knicks tried to come back, floater, next possession, floater, next possession, floater, next possession. I mean, Haliburton had 8 points in that game 6 closeout game in a matter of, I think, 4 minutes. Then he had the dagger 3. He didn't still need to be in the game. But then he had the dagger 3, 11 points in the fourth quarter. Whereas Siakam, I remember he had 39, but I don't remember any, like, Siakam moments. Yeah. That's more when I leave this series.
No, I get that. And I would say if you're going to go to a Haliburton moment, hitting the step back, what ended up being a 2, forcing overtime,
correct,
and them winning game 1 had such a huge impact on the series. Like, I give that a lot of credit. And Haliburton stepped up in the moment. But the fact is, defensively, what Pascal Siakam did, like, did he slow Karl Anthony Towns? He slowed him down. Did he stop him? No. But he won that matchup. And Miles Turner could not. And meanwhile, at the other end,
foul trouble.
they would hunt Haliburton. Like, Jalen was looking for ways to get Haliburton on him. So when I add that to it, yes, did Haliburton have the more dramatic impact on the series? I can make that case. But again, that's why I go to the engine and the driver. You know, it was Pascal Siakam was the guy who was shoveling coal into the engine to keep that thing going, and he did that more than anybody at both ends of the floor. So I vehemently disagree with the idea that it was a lopsided decision, or should have been a lopsided decision in favor of Haliburton. As I said, I think a case can be made for both, but I have absolutely no problem that they recognize Siakam.
And just to add, and it's not on this block, but just to add this in there, listen, okay, watch this next series. They gonna be looking for Haliburton. He'll be running around from that pick. He gonna play no defense. Because when SGA get his hands on him, oh my God! You bet your dollar on that.
Hey, the Steelers are still looking around for Aaron Rodgers, trying to get their hands on him. He hasn't got his hand, though, on a pen, so he's still yet to sign that contract. Can the Steelers afford to move on from the Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers? They've been waiting for 4 months now. Is it time to say, hey, we good on you, bro? That's next.
I'll tell you, hey.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers is still a no-show for the Steelers. Now, he's a no-show because he ain't signed nothing yet. That means the Steelers are currently in tramp with Will Howard, 6th-round pick this year, Skylar Thompson, amongst others. Aaron Rodgers, with mandatory minicamp looming June 10th, still a no-show. James Jones, we know notably Aaron Rodgers doesn't want minicamp. He went to the owners' meetings years ago, of which my brother was a part of, and he only showed up on the second-to-last day to suggest, hey, mandatory minicamp is completely irrelevant. With the Jets the last 2 years, they were one of, I think, 2 teams, maybe the only team in football, to not have mandatory minicamp. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like minicamp, but that date is approaching June 10th. Should the Steelers go ahead and move on without him? Can they afford to?
Aaron was at our mini games. I mean, they got no choice if he don't sign, man. I think we're at the point now to, like, what you have on your roster is what's in your roster. Now, if Aaron Rodgers wakes up tomorrow and he says, hey, man, I'm ready to sign, then, yes, you sign him. But right now, you got to make sure you get Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson and Will Howard ready. That's who's been there. Whether you like it or not, that's the situation you put yourself in, and that's who you got to go with. Aaron Rodgers has not signed yet. You don't know if he's going to sign. You don't know when he's going to sign. So he's not on your team right now. So you have to get these dudes ready. So to be honest with you, they're forced. They're forced to do it because if Aaron don't sign today, tomorrow, whenever, he signed before training camp, whenever, you don't have him right now. But you do have those three. So that is what it is, man. Get them three ready to go. It is your fault you are in this situation anyway. Got to figure it out now, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, they can afford to. In fact, it'd probably save them $30 million. It's probably not in their best interest to. There's a difference, right? Like you said, Skylar Thompson, Mason Rudolph, Howard, all these guys are there. I'm not saying it with confidence. and look, this is what I go back and forth on. Like, eventually, like, let's be real. Aaron Rodgers will probably end up signing with Pittsburgh, and they're probably going to be a fringe playoff team. But if you roll with the other three, first of all, the offensive skill people, they won't like it. Yep. Players won't like it. Let's be honest with you. Because
who won't like who? Who won't like?
DK won't like
DK won't like the quarterbacks that they have now. The offensive line won't like, it's just, it sort of is what it is. And it's nothing to do with those players. It's just you could have a potential Hall of Famer who has played some good football, not great, good football as of late, or you can have guys that really haven't done it before. And if you look at this team, right, what is the pros and cons, right? You sort of put yourself in this position when you didn't sign all the other guys, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, you didn't go after anyone else. In free agency, you haven't traded for Kirk Cousins, you have your mindset on Aaron Rodgers. Well, if he doesn't come, you got to be okay winning 5-6 games. Yeah. And sometimes, look, sometimes a reset year, it's not the worst because you look toward next year, and this is what they've sort of been looking for, and I hope they make a change, is they have 12 draft picks next year, a first-round pick, a second-round pick, 3/3, 2 4s, 2 5ths, 2 6s, and a 7th-round pick. And this quarterback class, right, I haven't jumped in all the way. It's a lot better, this upcoming quarterback class, than they have. So maybe their plan is to, probably still is with Aaron Rodgers, but at least you can save some money. I just don't know the plan. Like you can, it's a 1-year rental, right? And we've talked about this, but Aaron's probably not going to play a second year if he hasn't signed now. So what's the plan, Pittsburgh Steelers? Because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, what they going to do? They got to afford to wait on it. They got to afford to wait on Aaron Rodgers. What are they going to do? They can't. Oh, what? and it's not even like trying to diss the other quarterbacks, which is hard to do, but it's just oh my God. Trying to be honest is like, if there's teams like the Jaguars, the Titans, you can afford to like play around like that and don't give the team or the fan base hope. We're talking about the Steelers. So even if they don't go to the playoffs or they're not, you got to show like you're trying to win. You know what I'm saying? Because we talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever been. I went to school there, and we don't. They love football. Okay, when the game's on, ain't nothing else going on in the town. We watching this game, win or lose. There's times where they've been bad, the whole stadium's still filled up, waving them towels because it's the Steelers. So when I say what I have to say, when you're going into this freaking season with these type of quarterbacks, man, like that's embarrassing for real. It's really embarrassing. It's like we don't even care right now.
Right.
So we can't wait. And I know some people's like, oh, let's trade for Kirk Cousins. No, we don't want to do that either because it's like we don't care doing that too because he's been looking real bad lately. And I think that the respect of the game and the respect of the Steelers, especially that town, when you come on, man.
Come on, man.
I'll just say this, man. Look at these guys. Seriously though, like I'm not even being funny. You think the owner know who these guys are? They just got to pay the checks. Do you think the owner knows who these guys are?
Yes.
I'm gonna answer
about Skylar Thompson. I don't think so.
Listen,
they definitely know who Will Howard is.
The owner may know who Mason Rudolph is because he's been there before. He don't know these guys, and you about to start a season with guys we don't even know. Now, if the owner don't know the guys' names, you think the fans don't know who the guys' names are? Okay, trivia question right now. Acho, what number is Skylar Thompson?
13?
17.
Wrong again. 17. Okay, James Jones.
17?
Yeah, I said 17. Yeah, I had to look it up.
Yeah.
So I won't be wrong. Okay, what's the other guy? I don't even know the guy's name.
Mason
Can I see that?
Rudolph.
No,
Will
not
Howard.
him. No, we gonna know.
Will Howard.
Will Howard. What number is he?
12?
17.
That was college number.
12?
I say all that to say this, man. You're not gonna see none of these guys' jerseys in the stands. You can't even sell. Like, in sports, you gotta have some type of success. If we're not going to success from the way we play, we gotta get success from the fans. So give us something to cheer about. The radio stations, they gotta talk about some people on TV.
A radio station.
So all I'm saying is, man, like, this is embarrassment. Get Aaron there, please, or wait for him, because other than that, you're gonna have guys that don't even know who. Hey, number 16, hell of a pass, man. Hell of a pass. How we gonna win like that, Ancho?
What number is Will Howard?
See what I'm
18 in
saying?
College.
See, I make these things, it's like awareness. Like, because you guys, you're not aware about these things. I make y'all aware. Like, now you know.
Matt, can I get a number for Will Howard, please? Can I get a number?
Yeah, because listen.
18?
Oh.
Oh, bet. Same as college. I would have got that one right.
18.
Mason Rudolph,
is he
I'm gonna
four?
go with 12.
2.
Two.
You were close.
50%.
Can Aaron bring it back to the glory days?
Hey, when we return, who are the top head coaching quarterback combinations? The coach quarterback combinations, that's who wins Super Bowls in football. So who are the top coaching quarterback combinations in the NFL? Chase, breaking that down next. Okay, Jalen Hurts, I know him and Sirianni probably top 3, top 4.
Top 4.
Most every Super Bowl team has a phenomenal quarterback head coaching combination. If you want to know who's going to win the Super Bowl this year, just look at those two positions. Who's the coach, who's the quarterback, and how great are they? We got our quarterback of this show, Chase Daniel, ready to rank his top 5 coach-quarterback duos. Take it away, QB.
This was not an easy one, and I know I'm going to get some pushback from a lot of people out there. This is how I feel, though, and it's sort of a weighted average, right? It's not like I'm just weighting the head coach. It's not just I'm weighting the quarterback. How do they mesh together? How do they do it? And, what do you know? First, number one, let's be real. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not even close to me. It's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They've been to Super Bowl 5 of the last 6 years. They've won 3 Super Bowls together. Most wins in the league since they got together. There should be no pushback whatsoever on Baby Goat and maybe Goat with Andy Reid. Those two together have been excellent. Patrick Mahomes has taken Andy Reid as a coach to the next level. I think, though, it's a perfect number 1 list, and they're on their own. Number 2, Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. I like these two together. I think they're smart. It's brainchild, genius. I played with Matthew Stafford. They're really, really good together. They're one of 3 quarterback coach combos currently playing with Super Bowl rings. That matters. Super Bowl rings matter. They made the playoffs every year except for one. When they've been hurt, there was a tumultuous offseason. Does Stafford want to play? Is he going to New York? Is he not? Come on, let's be real. Matthew Stafford, in my opinion, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Number 3, Ravens. I like the Ravens. I like Harbaugh, and I like Lamar Jackson. This was weighted more toward Lamar Jackson, 2 MVPs. Now, they got to get some more playoff wins. They got to get past the Chiefs in the AFC. And only Kansas City has more regular season wins than the Ravens since Lamar was drafted, if you really want to keep it real. So they could technically slot in at 2, but I like them at 3. And Harbaugh's my first non-offensive coordinator, non-offensive guy. So he's a special teams coach. So not only has he hired the right people to help Lamar take it to the next level, but Lamar's just playing at another level. All right, number 4, Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. The Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen won his first MVP. That matters. Sean McDermott, what he's done in Buffalo, he has turned that franchise around. Only Kansas City has more total wins, regular season, and playoffs than the Bills since Josh was drafted. That matters. 11-plus wins. Here's crazy. 11-plus wins in 5 straight seasons. They've won their division in 5 straight seasons as well. The only problem, Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, they're 0-4 versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. And number 5, there was 3 teams that I could have picked, but I'm going with Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor. And this is heavily, heavily weighted for what I believe Joe Burrow is. We talk about his stats all the time. We've talked about what he's able to do. Now, he's missed the playoffs in 2 straight seasons. I understand that, but they've got a winning record in 4 straight seasons. They have a top 7 offense in 3 of the last 4 years. Only the Niners and the Chiefs have been to more conference championships since Burrow and Taylor got together.
Hold on a
Nick
second,
Sirianni and
quarterback.
Jalen Hurts.
Hold on.
Kyle Shanahan
Hold
and Brock
on.
Purdy. Where's your
Quarterback,
Eagles?
I tease two combinations up there that have won Super Bowls. Shout out to Andy Reid and Pat. Shout out to
you know what the third one is.
And Stafford.
Yep.
But I see three combinations up there that haven't won a Super Bowl. That's the Burrow one, that's the Allen one, that's the Jackson one. But Sirianni
It's a good question.
and Hurts have a Super Bowl, and they're not even in the top five, let
fair
alone
criticism.
the other two.
Yeah, it's a fair criticism. For me, I look what I rank each of them individually. Nick Sirianni, in my opinion, 6, 7 in the league in head coaching rankings, and Jalen Hurts top 8. So for me, I just like the way Joe Burrow plays quarterback. Joe Burrow's been to an AFC championship. I know they don't have a win, so I get that. That's all fair criticism. This is just my list, Acho. You can have yours as well. All these guys off camera crushing me right now, including Shady.
Oh,
and James
man, we're going to deal with Chase during the break. I do like the top two, though, and I'm not mad at the third. Hey, when we return, the Timberwolves, they could make a move allegedly for Kevin Durant. That's word on the street. Should Ant-Man want to team up with the guard, as Shady McCoy would refer to him as? That is next in the facility. Somebody come address Chase's list, please. Hey, Ant-Man fell short of getting to the NBA Finals, but reports say the Timberwolves could have interest in trading for Kevin Durant this offseason. Shady McCoy, quickly, should Ant-Man want to team up with KD?
Oh, my God. Can you imagine them two together? Right? Now Randall's your third best offensive weapon, and KD's your second? You got Ant-Man, because Ant-Man take flight. I would love that.
That was still on it.
Come
I
on,
like
man.
it, bro.
But I would love that matchup, though. KD and Ant-Man, that would be a nightmare for every defensive team and coach. I would love to see them together. And I think if he was in the Western Conference Finals, they would find a way to get to the finals if Kevin Durant was on your team.
I want to hear what Slick got to say. Go ahead.
I always want to listen to Slick.
I'd like to see him together too, but the reality is the cost or the price of getting him would be far too much, and it would be a one-year rental. That's the reality, because it's not just Julius Randle for Kevin Durant. It's not just Rudy Gobert for Kevin Durant. It would be Julius Randle and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Rob Dillingham or Jaden McDaniels. It would be Gobert and Mike Conley. It would take multiple players to get him.
Yeah.
And you're talking about having him for 1 year. And the reason that the Minnesota Timberwolves would want to do this is because they have the most expensive roster in the league right now. They are in cap hell.
Oh, wow.
And they don't have the ability, because of the way the rules are, of improving their roster any other way. So while it sounds good and the idea of Ant and KD playing together, I love, the reality of making it happen would be far more costly than I think at this stage of Anthony Edwards' career that he would want.
If you watch this series, you got to do it. If you watch this series again.
After all that,
if you watch this
I
series
get that. I can't wait to hear what Slick has to say.
I thought you was going to be on my side. But if you watch this series against OKC, you got to do it. And one thing I will say about Anthony Edwards is he don't care what superstar come with him. Remember when he told Steve Kerr, we ain't got no Kobe, dog, which means put me in the game and let me go get my bucket. So even if you do get a dude like Kevin Durant that comes over there that can score the ball at a high clip, I think it would help Anthony Edwards, man. And it's his favorite player, so he gonna like KD, but you need another guy to help Anthony Edwards out so he don't get doubled the whole game, especially in the playoffs. All them dudes you mentioned that making all them money, they wasn't helping. They wasn't helping in this series.
That might be fair, but for me, I want the onus on Ant.
Shady, let me try this. Okay. If you get Ant-Man and KD, I get it. You got two guns. Yeah. But I just don't know if they're going to be unstoppable, right? I think if you combine these two, it'll be a tragedy. Maybe not of Macbeth, but a tragedy nonetheless, because I think where Kevin Durant is at in his career, he's kind of out of time. You know what I mean? And if you end up having to trade Julius Randle, then who's going to be the inside man? So, like, when I really think about it, it's just not going to work. I get it. They're both gladiators. But ultimately, it's the selfishness of the stars that'll be the equalizer. Anyway, when we return, it's time. That's how you do it. That boy went on. Hey, reports say as we get to a Blitz meeting that Saquon Barkley is on the
That's
cover.
a fresh cover.
Of Madden 20.
Look at my boy. Look at my boy.
After rushing for 2,000 last season, Shady, the question is this. Is it realistic for Saquon to get back to 2K again this year?
Was it realistic to see somebody flip backwards on a real football field? No. You didn't think so, but for him, he can do anything possible.
That's
you got the wings on his helmet, you got the wings in his feet. I'm going to say yes.
Cleared them.
The ride, because he's so good, and the offensive line is so good. They the same.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm with Shady McCoy. I can't believe I've never been present during a Madden cover shoot, but that was Shady's Hall of Fame induction, and yeah, that was a crazy moment. Yeah, no doubt he can do it.
If there's anyone that could do it, it's this guy, but I'm going to say no realistic. There's only been 9 ever to do it. No one has gone back-to-back, so keyword realistic.
Has anybody ever done it twice?
Yeah.
Alone bit.
TD?
2,000 yards?
Yeah.
TD?
Terrell Davis.
No one's ever done it twice, according to stats and research.
Terrell Davis had 2,000 yards twice.
Get the
stat.
Get the hate.
I thought so too.
Get the hate out your heart this morning. The answer is absolutely yes. But to be honest with you, I'm more on the cover. They know that this jump should have been backwards and it should have said Barkley on this cover. He jumped over the man.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
Oh, you wanted to switch?
Yeah, show the Barkley on the back.
Yeah, you're right.
Jumping over the
Eagles
dude.
helmet.
Yeah, you're right about that.
The Kelly Greens.
The Eagles didn't do that. Barkley did that.
No, that's true. Now, you're right about that.
Man. Hey, moving on. Hey, reports say the Steelers made a pretty substantial contract offer to TJ Watt, but he has not signed a new deal over in Dallas. Michael Parsons has also not signed his extension. Shady, who means more to their team, Watt or Parsons?
I love Micah, but I'm going to go with TJ. I watched TJ just win games by himself. Like, sack the quarterback, strip the quarterback, take it up, score a touchdown. I watched him drop, get a pick score like and Micah got some help. Got all-pro wide receivers, got Dak. Sometimes he's playing well. TJ don't have none of that.
Fact. TJ Watt, that's easy for me. TJ Watt's the Defensive Player of the Year. Let's not compare Defensive Players of the Year and TJ Watt over 100 sacks really to anybody not named Myles Garrett right now.
Yeah,
This was a toss-up for me. I went Micah just because of age. He can play longer. So TJ's not a lot old. He's older than him. And I think that without the Micah on Dallas, I just don't think they're good at all. Like TJ, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, they could survive a game or two. I don't know with Micah. I don't know.
No wrong answer here.
Yeah.
I took TJ Watt because he's like that. I seen him dominate and win games by himself. But do you think TJ Watt ain't signing because he asked what numbers these quarterbacks are?
The dude's about to make $40 million a year. He don't care about the quarterback.
I want me to sign.
He'll be there longer than these other guys.
See, y'all know. He ain't even talking to them dudes.
We review James Jones. What number is Will Howard?
18.
What number is Skylar Thompson?
17.
What number is Mason Rudolph?
2.
You learn everything.
He's seen all that.
Count.
I love it.